At this time, if you're able to, please rise for military honors. You may now be seated.
On behalf of the President of the United States Navy, and the grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your love and faithful service.
Left, face. Forward, march.
A reading from the book of Ecclesiastes. There is an appointed time for everything, and a time for everything under the heavens. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to uproot the plant. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to tear down, and a time to build. A time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones, and a time to gather them, a time to embrace, and a time to be far from embraces, a time to seek, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away, a time to rend, and a time to sow, time to be silent, and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. What advantage has the worker from his toil? I have considered the task that God has appointed for us to be busied about. He has made everything appropriate to its time, and has put the timeless into their hearts, without our ever discovering, from beginning to end, the work which God has done. I recognized that there is nothing better than to be glad and to do well during life, for all of us, moreover, to eat and drink and enjoy the fruit of all our labor, a gift of God. I recognize that whatever God does will endure forever. There is no adding to it or taking from it. Thus has God done that he may be revered. What now is has already been. What is to be already is. And God restores what would otherwise be displaced. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Thank you all for being here today. I know some of you are local and some of you have traveled from far away, and we greatly appreciate that. Before I dive into, we did want to let everybody know that we'll be gathering back at the house after the ceremony here, and we hope that you'll join us for food and drinks and music and memories. Grab somebody over here if you need the address after the ceremony. So we're here. I got this job because I'm the one who would cry. We're here today to celebrate the life of Geoffrey Robert Imperatore. He was known by many different names: Geoff, Dad, Papa G, Father Imperatore, Lieutenant Commander Imperatore. In certain military circles, he was known as the Wizard. Many of you probably know that my dad was a great public speaker. He gave many sermons in his career as an Episcopal priest and a Navy chaplain. He also performed marriage ceremonies, baptisms, and eulogies for family and friends. And I know that his father of the bride speech at my own wedding sparked many happy tears amongst those present. I don't have quite his natural gift for speaking, but I'll do my best. I think everyone would agree that my dad had a big personality. He was a presence in any room and often the life of the party. He had lots of stories that he would tell, stories from his family, stories from his childhood growing up on Long Island with 7 brothers and sisters, his stories from his time in the military. Some of the stories may have gotten a little bit embellished over time. He also had a lot of sayings and snippets of songs and jingles that would pop into his head that he would share, pull out for various occasions. I remember the way he would just randomly start singing "Goodness Gracious, Great Balls of Fire" out of nowhere. And I'm sure that many of you have similar such memories. Something that some of you meeting him later in life might not have known is that he played the guitar and sang very well. He favored singer-songwriter music from the 60s, 70s, folk, pop, country songs. From the Sounds of Silence to the Boxer, John Denver to Jimmy Buffett, the leader of the band to the House of the Rising Sun. Some of my fondest memories are of singing with him together at home or in the church. I was definitely Daddy's little girl. He was my big strong dad who was so much fun and would make me laugh. Was reminiscing, of course, this weekend, remembering the time when I was maybe about 3 years old, and we built a doghouse. Obviously, I did not have much to do with the actual construction of this doghouse, which was enormous and had carpet and roof shingles. But I did contribute to the painting, which ended in my mom, Janet, coming home to find my pigtails dipped in white paint. So it was always a lot of fun with Dad. He later became a great stepfather and enjoyed fishing and shooting and camping and sports with Michael and Billy, and I know that those times meant a lot to you both. He was also a surrogate parent to many of Billy and Michael's friends. He and Susan provided a crash pad and support and some tough love. We've heard from quite a few of them about how valuable it was to have Geoff in their lives and how present and supportive he was. He and Susan also opened their home to a little girl, Dana, for quite a while when she needed a stable environment. He was an enthusiastic grandpa, of course, to Emma, Grace, William, Simon, and Ian. Or Papa G, as he ended up being called. He helped a lot in the early days with my kids. My twins were born prematurely, and I had to go back to work before they were able to go to daycare. So he would come over and take care of them during the day while I would work, sometimes take a nap on a hardwooden desk. And the babies always seemed to sleep very soundly, nestled on Papa G's chest. Later, he got them their first fishing poles and took them fishing. And of course, all the grandkids enjoyed time hanging out at the pool with Papa G. And of course, he adored Susan and the life that they built at the house in Crupper Place, which was the site of weddings and birthdays, some admittedly quite wild parties, and never-ending stream of home improvements. He was someone who put a lot of effort into everything. Christmas wrapping was completed with assembly line efficiency. He labeled everything. He saved everything. He loved fishing. He loved war movies and mafia films and reading. I well remember summer days. This was back in the early aughts when we would all come home back from our respective schooling or jobs, and we would sit around on the back deck with each with our own books, sharing a bag of tortilla chips. Later in life, he took up cooking, and he was as meticulous with that as he was with everything else he did. And of course, he was a veteran. That's why we're here today. He was a naval officer who served on the USS Guam in Operation Desert Storm and Desert Shield. Before that, he was assigned to the Marine Corps, 1st Battalion, 8th Marines at Camp Lejeune, which is why it seems very fitting that he's going to be laid to rest here at Quantico. So in conclusion, he had a big heart, he was extremely generous, and always ready to lend a hand. He could be very, very stubborn. He was very loving and he cared a lot. While we would have wished for many more years together, he had a full life. So thank you all again for being here to honor him. However you knew him in whatever role, friend, sibling, parent, husband, grandparent, we all loved him and we'll miss him very much. Okay, Joe is going to close us out with a prayer, and then we are possibly going to move up to the next.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
I just want to say on the behalf of the National Memorial Cemetery here at Quantico, our deepest and most heartfelt condolences. I'm going to butcher the name. Mr. Imperatore.
Yay.
At this time, this does end this committal service stuff. So from my understanding, do y'all still want to witness?
If we have time. Too close? Is that too?
I mean, if, we can.
No,
So
okay.
you don't want to witness?
No.
Okay. So at this time, this does end this committal service. So if you so choose, you can come up, pay your final respects to him, and then immediately could you please return back to your